Cheers, guys. Epix 911, welcome to the Elitist Geek VR news for Saturday, November 19th, 2016. Let's jump right into VR, guys. Start with a bit of preamble. I want to talk about the game Overkill VR. So this is an FPS VR game for the HTC Vive. It's developed by a company called Starloop Studios. Now, they had originally created or developed for and released this for the mobile platform. And from everything I've read and watched today researching this title, it does tend to suffer from that legacy. And it's things like the user interface. They're still very touchscreen orientated. The Vive controller just feels odd and out of place. But with that said, the game doesn't look too bad from what I can see. So if there's HTC Vive users out there that are FPS fans, check this out. That is Overkill VR. Next up, a lot of you pointed this out to me, and really excited about this. Installed it myself. Now, I'd always thought I had the Doom 3 version of the BFG edition. I didn't. I had regular Doom 3. You are required to have the BFG edition, at least as far as I can tell. If I find out to the contrary, I'll let you guys know. But you are able to, with a modification, play the Doom 3 BFG edition in virtual reality on your HTC Vive. Now, I'm going to figure out if you can play it on the Oculus Rift. I suspect controllers, until the Touch is released, would possibly be an issue, but again, I will confirm that. But it looks fantastic. It looks like a hell of a lot of fun. I've installed it. I've got everything pretty much ready. Going to do a video, probably a quick look on it sometime tonight. Now, speaking of quick look, attempt probably about number 5 in total of getting a Google Earth VR video, guys. And this time, again, a video that I felt personally was even better than the last, where I recorded the window without focus and basically had 15 minutes of black screen. This time I had 12 minutes of me being almost completely off camera. There's maybe 2 minutes of parts of my right shoulder blade, and that's about it. I love the experience. I'm going to do that again. So there's going to be a few things popping up. Obviously, if gaming and the experiences aren't why you're here for the news, forgive the barrage of updates that might be coming to you via Twitter. I originally disabled that, and then I had people saying that I had more people saying they like the alerts for the news videos when they're released via Vive than people who said it spammed them. And honestly, if you're one of those users who feels it's kind of more like spam, I don't really use Twitter a lot. I mean, I send out the odd tweet. You can look at it. They're pretty damn few and far in between. So, yeah, probably not where you want to be if you hate spam, because that's honestly what's mostly what it's used for, is just to let people know that the videos have been released. All right, so let's jump into the news, guys. And literally, this story is about news. There is a company, and Bryn Mooser is heading it up. They are hell-bent on changing the world, according to him, via the technology of virtual reality. So this is a group. They call themselves Riot, which is R-Y-O-T, pronounced like there's a riot. And their company was purchased by Huffington Post for about $15 million. They are working in partnership with Google, specifically the Google Daydream View HMD. That's their platform of choice. Their current and only platform requires a YouTube app, but their mission statement is essentially to release breaking news as it happens in virtual reality. So if that's of interest to you guys, description, more on the app in the link below. Now, this next article kind of had me wondering how biased it was going to be, because it comes to us via PCMag.com, which is, of course, PC Magazine, which has been around forever dealing with PC, mostly business-specific issues, new products, hardware, software, etc. They had an article just released within the last couple of days on the best virtual reality headsets of 2016. So my immediate thought was, okay, this is probably going to be heavily slanted towards the Rift and the Vive. But no, I was pleasantly surprised. And while I may not completely agree with the results, nor may you, I thought it was interesting. They selected Sony PlayStation VR as their best virtual reality device of the year 2016, tied for second, and there's a three-way tie here, HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Google VR. Now, I probably would have pushed the Google VR down a rank, but I guess it was judged, the merit of its own strengths, which is fair. It's mobility, and there's definitely some advantages to being mobility specific. And then rounding up the list, in third place, Google Daydream View. So I've included the link to the actual article below. Have a look if you're more interested. Next news story comes to us via designboom.com. And this is one of those virtual reality experiences that has the opportunity to, raise awareness, promote empathy, etc., etc. It comes to us via a Tunisian-Belgian nationalist. He's done lots of news coverage in the Middle East, including, of course, Israel and, Palestinian territories, etc. He's calling his project The Enemy. And it's basically like an art exhibition is how he's, promoting this as an exhibition piece. You put on the Gear VR HMD, and he has opposing enemy combatants. And all they do is offer so as you approach them, they begin to speak, offering you personal perspectives on the war that they're waging against their enemy, motivations that they have, suffering, freedom, thoughts and fears for the future, etc. All in a nutshell, all summarized. The opposing combatant then offering exactly the same, but from his or her point of view. So far, Ben has filmed enemy combatants, Israel, Palestinian territories, El Salvador, Congo. He hopes to add more in the future. So, that's one of those uses for VR. I mean, regardless of what you think about various topics, we're a pretty damn nasty species. And a lot of what we get up to is absolutely of no benefit to this planet. And I love that expression, or that statement that is, look, if ants disappeared from the earth, there would be literally an ecosystem collapse. Yet if humans suddenly, from one day to the next, disappeared from Earth, planet Earth would be better off without us. That's a pretty powerful and damning statement about us as a species. So this is kind of in line with that, and I don't mean it as a piece to bum you out. More just kind of the sobering reality of us as a species, how we view our fellow man, right? All right, next news story has to do with Gear VR. So if you have enrolled in the Galaxy Beta program, which allows you to try beta versions of the Android operating system, please note that you will render your phone incompatible with your Gear VR HMD. So if you've got a secondary tablet or maybe a phone, like an older Android phone that you upgraded from but kept, use that to test the beta system so that you don't lose that compatibility. If Gear VR compatibility, of course, is important to you. Next news story comes to us via TheVerge.com. And you can see Road to VR and Upload VR, which are my frequent go-tos. Literally no new news stories today. So definitely a little bit deeper research today. This news story has to do with Intel literally sliding all their chips, going all in on what they're calling merged reality for Project Alloy. Now, merged reality, as far as Intel describes it, and their partners like Microsoft, is essentially bringing in real world people, mostly people, objects on occasion as well, into a virtual reality environment. And this is one of those things that I've talked about in the past where I said, look, for business, and I know most of us are here for games, but for the business side of the equation, it's going to not only be more convincing, it's probably going to be more productive and effective from a business point of view to have real people staring at each other with their real bodies, their real body language, tone, etc., in a fake environment than have their voices simply coming to you via a cartoonish avatar. And it's things like boardroom meetings, interviews. Body language is so critical, so important ultimately to the success of those meetings that you're just not served in the same way with cartoon avatars. So I love where Intel is going with this. The issue is, and the author pointed this out too, when she tried Project Alloy in its current state, the graphics, the real world graphics brought in are really, really pixelated at the moment. And there's lots of dithering. It's just, in short, not great quality. So Intel assured the author and us that the next version of Project Alloy, both hardware and software, is going to address this, and the graphics of the real world objects are going to be much crisper. So, you know, and again, most of us are here for gaming, but for those of us interested in some of the business aspects of VR, AR, and now mixed reality, I think this is going to be huge. It's in line with what Microsoft is already doing with the HoloLens. I can see a huge benefit for market share on the business side of things for them. All right, guys, that is it for the news today. I know it was a little short. I got lots of gaming videos coming up. So if you want to see Google Earth VR, Doom, BFG, and that Counterfight game, which ended up being a ton of fun, stay tuned for those. All right, guys, cheers as always, and definitely catch you on the VR flip side.